Well, good morning, good morning. We are gathering for coffee with Casper. Here's the Casper. We are obviously inside today because it's wet outside. Not really raining right now. Will probably rain later in the day, but it's wet and kind of cold. There we go. Let me know where you are. We're checking in. We're gathering for coffee with Casper. We're up on Facebook. That means we're probably up on YouTube. There we go. Good morning from Palm Desert. Good morning from Long Island, New York. Good morning from Hollywood. Beautiful, glamorous Hollywood. As you can see, I got the Casper here. Also got some light in my face reflecting off my glasses. I might have to change the angle of the shot here. Good morning from Hollywood. Good morning from Long Island. Good morning from Palm Desert. Good morning, Michelle from San Diego. The Rev Michelle, the Rev Trish, the Rev Doc Janine. We're all gathering up here to be with Coffee with Casper. Nice to see you all this morning. Yay. Yay. There's the Casper boy. Yeah, we're gong ourselves in here in about a minute. Let me know where you are. Check in, say hi. Good morning from South Carolina. Very nice. Nice to see you this morning. Good morning, good morning. Hello from Arizona. Nice to see you, Reginald. Good morning, good morning. Becky from Carolina, South Carolina. We're looking forward to seeing everybody this morning. And we're going to gong ourselves in right now. Here's the time. Here it is. Okay, big boy, you have to get down now. Okay, get down. Here we go. All right, gang, here we go. Good morning from Boise. All right, nice to see you guys this morning. All right, here we go. Everybody, let's take a big, deep breath in. You're going to let out the sound, ah. Ah. We'll do that one more time. Remember, that breath is a breath of clarity and purity. We're taking it in, cleansing the whole consciousness just to be present for 20 minutes. Ah. Relaxing the shoulders, and let the energy rise up into your heart center, hearing that vibration ringing out. The tone of clarity, the tone of purity, the tone of being awakening being in a world that's waking up. Yay, 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 yay. Good morning, good morning. We're glad you're here this morning. Nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning from Albuquerque, too. Yay, yay, yay. All right. So here's what I wanted to talk about today. I had an interesting a friend of mine. Actually, you remember the great Dr. Matt. His granddaughter is now got a master's degree in philosophy, and she's getting a doctorate. And she called me the other day to ask about the ancient question of good and evil. And as somebody who's been through the pandemic, paying attention to the outer events in the world, by means of reading the newspaper, the outer events of the world come to us, whether we want them to or not, right? Good morning from Boise. David's here. Good morning from Santa Rosa, California. Very nice. Good morning from Burbank. Luz is there. Nice to see you. And so the question is, is there a God of good? And one of the questions that she asked me was, well, what about an animal in the forest that a tree falls on it and it's left there suffering for several days or something like that? And so I said, okay, well, we have to back up. We all of us gathered here on Coffee with Casper. We are what we call in the isness business, right? We are interested in discerning what actually is. And then from that perception of seeing what actually is, to draw from that nature. Now, what actually is eternality. The thing is that the thing itself, what the philosophers call the thing itself, the energy field itself, energy itself is eternal. Energy is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. That means that energy is, in its essence, pure. So what we're interested in is, well, and isn't it interesting that just this week, the scientists came up with an understanding that there's a core in the earth, the center of the earth, that is a pure metal at the very center, like a giant metal ball at the center of what we already knew was the core, but there's a core within the core, a thing that is entirely pure, right? Well, and that pure creates the magnetic fields and everything that makes gravity work, and this is fascinating stuff. And not that I get it all, I'm not an astrophysicist, but it's pretty cool. And this is what we are looking at. So here we are, we're gathered with coffee with Casper. The Coffee with Casper is a gathering of light workers, meaning people who have understood that there's only one power. Energy and matter are equal interchangeable. That means there's only one energy. If there's only one energy, then everything is interrelated and interconnected because it all comes from the same thing. Now, when we look at the world and the waves going out, we see all of the chaos and confusion, even to the point of war, of humanity's unkindness to itself, right? That's the biggest challenge in the world, is that we have not, as a group, as a global culture, we haven't woken up to the interconnectedness of all things. And that therefore, no matter what country you're in, no matter what continent you're in, no matter where you are on this globe, if you are a thinking, feeling human being, you are one with the one, which means we are one with each other. Now, you and I know that. That's why we call ourselves light workers. We also know that the world is responding to me by corresponding to me. That the sum total of my vibrations, now we call that consciousness, everything we've ever thought, said, felt, and done, right, creates our consciousness. Our consciousness is a growing and evolving thing, and it's happening in front of our experience because consciousness creates experience, right? And this is what we as light workers know. We have come to the point to know that what's going through my consciousness is part of the law of creation, and it's vibrating. That's what we call the law of the circle. That which comes from me returns to me as my multi-dimensional experience. So what's going on in the inside, and all of those dimensions are our conscious mind or subconscious mind, all those thoughts, all those feelings, all that energy that's moving through us is creating our consciousness. That consciousness is creating our experience, right? This is just basic reminder stuff of what we already know. And I know you know this, that's why we're gathered here together. But now, here's what we need to know, is that harmony must be, this is Judge Thomas Troward, we know this is true, harmony must be heaven's first law. Because eternity, if it's going to last forever, must be harmonious with itself, at the core. At the core, there is one transcendental truth, and that truth is that harmony is the fundamental nature of the universe. Now, eons ago, human beings, unaware, for whatever reason, unaware of their connection to life itself, to the cosmos, to what was heretofore called God. God is energy, the intelligence of the universe itself that creates all things, creates consciousness as you and me. We could call it energy, we could call it God, we could call it the thing. It doesn't matter what you call it. It is the life force within us. And that life force at its very center is pure. It's pure energy, it's pure, and it cannot be destroyed, it cannot be messed with because it's eternal. It's pure at the very core. So that means that somewhere within our being, at the very core of our being, we would call that our heart center, at the very core of our being is this vibration of pure and complete harmony. Now, if we are working with ourselves and realizing, okay, my mind got a hold of an idea. The mind got a hold of an idea that at the spiritual level of things, at the eternal level of things, all things are eternal. Since I was created as energy, the energy that I am is eternal. Energy doesn't die, it changes form. Just like I don't look today like I looked 60 years ago. I've had an evolution and a continuing evolution in my body, in my mind, and in my experience. Now, what we know is if I begin to attach my mentality to my I am consciousness, to this I am that I am, this original idea conceived as me, right? Evolving all the way forward to this personality that you're looking at right now, right? I am coming directly from that core of purity. Now, the more that I touch with my mind, with my inner awareness, we would call that a consciousness. The more that I touch with my consciousness, that fundamental reality, and draw it in. Remember we shared that poem from Robert Frost, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I've got miles to go and promises to keep. You and I can just be. Just being, if we would touch that core of purity and just be, that core will guide, guard, direct, protect, and lead us into the paths where we accelerate the rate at which we are evolving, the rate at which we are intuning ourselves more and more to that purity that is the beginning. We use that in healing. We call that forth into our body. There is a pattern of perfection born of purity. That pattern is my true and eternal nature, and I'm calling that pattern into my mind, into my body, and into my experience today. I am one with the fountain of eternal youth and beauty because I was born from that fountain, and I'm calling that fountain into my mind, into my body, and into my experience today. It is up to us to shift away from the race's idea of decay and come into the possibility that through my consciousness I can revitalize every aspect of my being. I can revitalize my mind, I can revitalize my body, I can revitalize my experience, I can look forward to that which is unfolding. You know, in our lifetimes, and I'm talking to anybody who's within 15 years of my age, in our lifetimes, being old used to be like 65 was the number. Ooh, you're 65, you're old. Now we know that it is not a function of the calendar dates. It's a function of what's going through my consciousness, has to do with how vital and alive I am. It's a function of what's going through my consciousness, right? So when we look out into the new day, in fact, I read an article about this in the paper just this week. When we look out into the new day, are we breathing in yesterday's problems? Do we, I love that expression. Yesterday ended last night. Today is the dawn of a new day and a new beginning. But only if I refresh my mentality in that way, right? That whatever mistakes I've made, whatever waste of time I've done, however I've procrastinated, all of that ended last night. This is today. And what's being born today is how are you about the possibilities in your life today? Are you open and expectant of the greater good? Are you looking out through the beauty of nature into the world and drawing that beauty into your mind, into your body, and into your experience? That when you witness the beauty of a flower blossoming or of a beautiful berry popping forth through the plant itself, through the berry bush itself, you're watching the vitalizing of the life force pushing itself out. Now imagine that same vital life force is in you, wanting to push itself out into a new expression in this day. Not limited by what the world is doing, not limited by the surface waves that are splashing against and sinking and destroying, and earthquakes and fears and doubts and wars and all of the miscreations. What if I stop and pause and make this day a new day? What if I stop and pause and make this day a new day? What if I go to the core of purity within the very being of my beingness, right? That the electron that starts the whole creative process is in potential a wave of consciousness. It's not even a thing yet. And yet the moment consciousness moves upon that potential field and that first electron is generated, that electron that is generated is entirely pure. It's born almost like even more pure than the Earth's very core, right? It's the purest thing. It's untouchable. It's God in form. An electron is God in form. An electron is a particle that forms molecules, and molecules are what builds all things in creation. And all of it's happening by responding to the innermost core of your own being. So you see, our work as light workers in the world is to make sure that we are daily drawing upon that inner core, calling forth that inner core of purity, the purity of the divinity of your own conception. That you were conceived in the mind, this is before mothers and fathers, before the womb, you were conceived in the field of perfect intelligence as 100% pure. Then you were born into a race filled with confusion, filled with misconceptions, filled with separation, filled with a God or a power outside of themselves, up in the sky somewhere, instead of realizing that that purity of consciousness is coming directly from the core of your own being, from the core of your inception before conception. That's who you are. And if we could use that sense of awe and wonder to step beyond the fears and doubts and the announcements of the world and draw that purity in through our awareness, through our consciousness on a daily basis. Now, this is why we're finding out that simple things like an attitude of gratitude can stimulate your awareness, can stimulate your I'm trying to find the word, your inspirational being, right? I need to draw my inspirational being into my life today. And that inspirational being was conceived in the beginning of time. Oh God, if you but know who you were, nothing would contain you. Remember that line from Ralph Waldo Emerson we've been sharing, right? This is our time to reach out, to reach deep within on a daily basis. And I'm thinking of David Walker, Reverend Dr. David Walker. And David Walker's, big line in the course of his many, many years of ministry was, "You are enough. You are enough." What if you really believed that you are enough, and that you begin to draw through your faith, through your understanding of the unity of all life, through your understanding that there is that thing which is transcendental, which causes eternality to be eternal, and it lives in you. That which causes eternality to be eternal lives in you. And so what if I begin to draw on that in a new way, to draw on it in an everyday way, and bring it forward through my acts of kindness, my acts of inspiration, my acts of waking up to my own divinity, and then reaching through kindness to others, to just share that. I don't have to teach lessons to everybody. We had, as you probably remember, we had huge plumbing problems here in my house in Southern California, our house in Southern California. And we just gone through waves and waves and waves of challenges in a 1985 house. The plumbing was not done really well in the beginning, and we're having to redo it and fix it gradually. And I found a really wonderful family it's a father and son's team of plumbers, and they're absolutely wonderful, genuine, authentic people. And I don't have to teach them metaphysics or tell them my understanding of the nature of the universe. I just have to appreciate their integrity from that place within me that appreciates integrity, and know that their skill set and their willingness to keep their word and do a quality job is an act of excellence, and I appreciate it deeply without having to fawn over them or to explain them. Do you know that you and I come from the same core? No. It's wonderful when we were able to have those great conversations with friends and colleagues, but it's not necessary for the movement of the energy, of the purity of my own being. And every time I engage that purity of my own being to make myself more fully alive and share that out into the world, it's helping to make the world more alive. The more we have people celebrating what it is to be a human being, awakening to being fully alive, whoa, that's a great and wonderful glory. And every time we dig deep within ourselves and do that and share it in the world, we're creating that vibration, and we're helping to be the place where we penetrate through the mess of miscreations of a race that didn't understand the unity of all life. You and I do. We've been listening to the sages, the saints, the masters, the mystics throughout time, seeing that they have penetrated through the veil of separation into the field of unity, and realizing that field belongs to everyone equally, and beginning to draw it forth in ourselves so that we become more alive, so that we can share that aliveness in the world. And that's our mission this week. Reach in to the depths and core of your own being, to that place of eternality and purity, and cause it to enliven your body, to enliven your activities, to enliven your intentions and your attention on the tasks and projects that you're creating in front of yourselves, and wake up in a new and more profound way, drawing this purity, allowing it to heal, to cleanse, to uplift, to be in you, as you, through you, and to radiate out from you, to touch every part of life that you're connecting with. You're a light worker in the world. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. If you found anything valuable in these 20 minutes together, share it. Share it on LinkedIn, share it on YouTube, like it, follow it, pass it around. Let's share this light. And as light workers, let's turn our light up. And let's bring peace on earth and goodwill to all humankind and the earth itself. We're the right people at the right time, and we got this. Until we meet again, I invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. Come on. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. We will see you next week on Coffee with Casper. Bye for now.